Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how to do slicers, which is the slicers that keep moving up, opening and closing. They'll cut you if you don't watch it. They'll also destroy monsters if they come through. Also, I'm going to talk about, I added background sound and the animation of the monsters when they die. I changed that around. Also added a new plant and also added columns, which I'll show you how I did that too. So let's just show you a couple things here first, and then I will go into detail about it. The columns there. I stopped the background sound, and there's added a new plant there. You can go through the plants because before it was set to wall basics, which you mean you can't go through it, and you want to go through it. Okay, so this is a couple things I did here. You didn't see the animation of the monster. I'll just show you this real quick. So in the textures here, I just went into the monsters that's gone basically, and I just changed it around. So that's the animation of it. I just gave it a little better animation when you kill them, and I added a new sound audio to when the monster dies. It's like a dinosaur sound pretty much, which is added into when he dies. So I'm not going into detail with this because I've already talked about this stuff. I did actually change the alarm settings to 30 milliseconds, so that way it shows the whole complete animation of him dying, and then he gets destroyed after that. So it gets destroyed after 30 milliseconds, and the speed of the animation's at 0.2, so it goes a little slow, so you can see all the images real quickly. Also on the key as well, when you pick up the key, there is faster animation, and trying to see where I put the key at here real quick. Right here, the card. So I just changed the card. I think the card was at 0.1 at first, so the images go really slow when it animates, so I put it at 0.3, so it goes a little faster on the animation. And the key area, the animations and the textures and the sprints. So it shows this pretty goes pretty quickly. So if you change the speed to 0.1, it goes slower. 0.3 goes faster on the animation. And then this plant was new. I added in there, which was from the original Doom. And that's it. Now you could add a new image of the plant and have it cut, like when you throw your sword out, you can destroy it and show just part of the plant, and you can just basically mimic how you did it with the barrel. When you hit the barrel, it shows the animation, so you just can copy that code and make it for your plant. But the thing is, the reason why I didn't do it is because the plant is just drawn. I don't have it set up where it's parented to the object wall basics, because with object wall basics you stop and you don't move, and I didn't want to stop at the plant. I want to go through it, because otherwise it's just gonna slow you down when you're trying to destroy monsters, stuff like that. You could have stop at the plant and you throw your sword out and destroy the plant, and then this destroyed plant is not parented to the object wall basics, and you go right through it. You could do that if you wanted to, but I decided not to do that. So, and I put all the plants in the second room because it made sense, because you're walking on grass, and so the plants should be in the area where the grass is at, not on stone, because plants don't grow on stone. I guess cracked stone goes through the stone, and you could have something like that where it's like there's stone that's cracked and the plants are going through the stone, but I just put it in the area where all the grass is at, pretty much, in the rain. Alright, so let's get to the new stuff, which is going to be the columns and the slicers. So in the columns, that is basically the same as doing the plants. Just made a new box, and it's a draw event, and then the action area, it's the same information. Like when you move around the object, the camera view is going to, the image is going to follow the camera view of the character. So when you move around, the player moves around the object, the camera moves around as well, so it looks 3D. So this column is not 3D, it's flat, but it looks 3D because it rotates when you rotate. It's the same concept as doing the health and the other plants in the game. When you rotate, the plant rotates, so it looks 3D, but in reality it's flat. So the column is a texture, and it looks 3D here and beveled, because what I did was I went back to when I talked about 3D objects, and I actually did a screenshot of the 3D object of the cylinder, and then I brought it into Photoshop, brought it into Photoshop, and I cut out the image so it looks 3D and beveled, and then I imported it into GameMaker 8.1. So you could do the same thing with the triangle that I talked about and the spear, that circle. You could just go into the 3D objects and take a screenshot of that, and then bring it into GameMaker 8.1. And like I said, with 3D objects with GameMaker 8.1, I'm not sure how to make it solid, like I talked about, and I don't know how to position it exactly where you want it at in the game, unless you mess with X and Y coordinates, which is really particular about where you place it at. You really have to know your X and Y coordinates to get it exactly where you want it at in the game. So, and like I said, I'm not a 3D gamer, so there is other ways you can import your 3D objects into GameMaker 8.1. You have to use a different program to do so, and there's stuff online where you can basically download the image that's flattened and then bring it into a program, and it will pretty much fold the object to make it look 3D looking, and then you can import it into GameMaker and then add code to make it fold in certain areas to make it look 3D. And I don't know how to do that. It's complicated. So I'm just talking about fake 3D, okay? So, but that's how you do the column. Is you should bring it in rounded and 3D looking. I guess I could have done this in Photoshop and did painstakingly did each block and make it rounded and stuff like that, but that would take time, and it's easier just to go into the 3D objects and take a screenshot of it and then cut it out and import it into GameMaker 8.1. So that's what I did. And you could go into edit and you could mess with the image color and all that stuff, but I just left the normal color as the walls. Okay, so then the depth's at -10, and it is parented to Object Basic, so I want it so when you go up against the column, you do stop at it, but you can move out of it. So it is treated as a solid object, and when you move around the column, it looks 3D, but in reality, it's a flat object. But see, it looks 3D because all sides look the same, so naturally it's going to look 3D. Alright, so that's all I did. So you see text underscore column, and that's getting it from the folder and the textures. And then I have it at 32, which basically extends from bottom to top. So it actually goes through the ceiling a little bit, so it makes it look like it's completely solid. And then it's at 0, so 0 means it's at the ground level. And then 32 makes it stretches it up to the ceiling. And then you can mess with these numbers here, the X and Y coordinates, but make sure you change all these numbers here. So if you change these numbers to like 5, I believe it makes the column thinner. So if you make the numbers bigger, of course, then it's going to stretch the object out on both sides. So let me just show you real quick. So this number here will extend it from bottom to top, and then you got 0 where it's going to be on the floor. If you go if you go -1 or 2, then it'll, or actually I don't think you can do minus, it gives you error. You put up to 5 or something, it'll be in the air. So if you change this 0 to 5 or 1, it'll be going up in the air a little bit. That's how they die. Yeah, see how the columns look more thin, and so it doesn't look it looks beveled, but it doesn't look like it's really attached to the floor. So that's why I made it like 8 all around to make it a little wider, make it look more natural, looking like that barrel there. Alright, and the columns are these yellow things here. Now you could destroy the columns, something like similar to like the barrel if you wanted to. Like you can destroy the column by just swinging your knife or your gun or something at it, but I didn't do that. But like I said, you could if you wanted to, since it's a solid object and you can't go through it. Now I wouldn't add the column right in this area right here where the walls meet, because when you move back or move forward, it looks like it's kind of up in the air for some reason. So I would make sure the column is away from the wall a little bit, so like I have here. Because if you put it too close to the wall and you move back slowly, it looks like it's not attached to the floor for some reason, but it is, but it just looks like it's not. So just move it away from the wall. Alright, and let's talk about the slicers, and then that will be it for this video. And like I said, the plant object, I'm not going to really go into the plant 2, which is another plant that I added. It's just the same information, I just changed it to text plant 2, and then I stretched it to 22, and it's at 7 all around, so it's kind of wide and kind of tall, because when I brought it in, it was small, and I stretched it out to 22. And that plant 2 is going to be this object here, and you go through it because it's not solid. It's not parented to the object wall basics, because I don't want to stop at the plant. I want to go through it, because plants are more or less, you go through plants, it's not like a wall, so I don't want to stop at it, because it's going to hinder me when I'm trying to destroy monsters or something. It's going to stop me every time. And then if you put them close near the wall, then you can't go past. Like in this area right here, I got a square wall, and if you make these plants, you put these plants close to the walls, and you can't go past this, and that's dumb, so that's why I didn't make them solid and parent it to the wall. So you go right through it, but see, it's great for, you can't see past the plant. There could be like some kind of health or weapon to grab, and so, or you're hiding a monster behind it, so that's great there, but you don't want to make it solid, because then you can't go through it or around objects, so that's going to mess up the game. Okay, back to the slicers. So the slicers are these green lines here, these green walls, and let's see. So I have it parented to object basics for when they're closed. So at 30 milliseconds, it's going to jump to open slicer. And I have this information just like the wall I've talked about in the past, except it's called texture slicer. So it's in the textures here, and it's going to be, actually, no, it should be, I'm sorry, it should be in the wall, the backgrounds. Yeah, so here's the first background image when it's closed, and then you have the second one when it's open. The second one is not going to be parented to the wall basics because you want to go through it. The first one is going to be parented to object wall basics because when it's closed, you can't go past it. So after 30 milliseconds, it's going to open up. So that's solid. Set it to object wall basics. And then when it's open, so it's going to switch this red to, this green to red, which the red means it's open. And it's not going to be set to, do not set it to object wall basics, as if you do, then you can't go past it. Even though the image shows mostly it's open, you still won't be able to go past it. So make sure it's not set to object wall basics, it's not solid. So same information, except it's going to be texture slicer 2, which is open. After 60 milliseconds, it's going to go back to the object wall vertical, which is going to be closed slicer. And the code for that to show the draw event of the image of the slicer open. And this, I don't know, in this situation, I didn't add the draw event on here. know why? Oh, because it's set up to Object Wall Basics. In Object Wall Basics, the draw codes are in there, so that's why I had to add the draw event in here for this information, because this information is actually in the Object Wall Basics. But since I'm not attaching, I'm not doing a parented with Object Wall Basics, I have to add the draw event in here. Otherwise, it's not going to show up on the screen. Because like I said, the Object Wall Basics, you're basically stopped at the wall, and so I don't want that to happen when it's open. So in the object player, you got the slicers here, where if you get hit when it's closed, then you lose -5, and it's set to relative. And then it shows the face icon. Same thing happens with the horizontal. You get hit 5, relative, shows the face icon. And I've already talked about horizontal and vertical, so you're just basically changing a couple codes with the create location. So that the vertical you have for the Y, and then for the horizontal you got for the X coordinates. And then you have the slicer for the horizontal and for the vertical when it's opened. You're just changing a couple things. The Y is for the vertical, and then for the horizontal is the X. And then also for when the monsters go through it, they're going to get hit too with the slicers. They're going to be destroyed, and it's going to show that animation of them getting hit. Instance create object monster dead. And that's pretty much it in this game. So I'll upload this GameMaker 8.1 game here, and you can download it and mess around with the slicers and the monsters and the columns, stuff like that. And also, one thing I forgot to mention, which I already talked about in the past, some other videos, which in room 2, I have a question mark here, edit, and it's going to basically destroy the background sound from the first room. So it's going to play the rain, and it's going to do an else statement, you know, from the, where is the, it's in here somewhere, control tab, then the stop sound. It's just going to stop the sound from the first one, because you don't add the stop sound, it's going to play the background sound repeatedly over and over again. It's going to duplicate or double up on the audio on the background sound, and it's going to play the rain. You don't want that, so you're going to make sure you stop it. And then even on the end game, you go to the blue square here, which deactivates everything in the game that's pretty much persistent, and it's going to stop the background sound from playing. And also, I should put in there the stops the rain sound too, but there's no monsters in the second room, so you're not going to die. So if I were to die in the second room, you want to add the rain sound too, so you want to stop the rain sound as well. Alright, that will conclude this video. Thanks for watching.